Hello there everyone, and thanks for joining me at my tying bench once again. This time around I'm going to tie you up a popular pattern, the bead head hare's ear nymph. And this is just one of the versions I tie of this particular pattern, and I'm stocking up my box with some of these, so I thought I'd bring you along with me. And if you have the materials, definitely tie some of these up, because I'm sure you all are familiar with this fly and how good it works. And it's been around for many years. And this is just one way that I tie it up. I do different versions, but this is one particular version here that I tie. So I'll get this guy the vise, and I'm tying it on a size 10 mustad heavy nymph hook here. Whoops, wrong one. Mustad size 10 heavy nymph hook. And I'll get this guy the vise here, and we'll get started. Okay, so I have the hook ready here, and also I'm tying it with a gold bead. It's a 3.2 millimeter gold bead here, and I've already put 6 wraps of 0.15 lead wire up into the bead there. That locked in my vise. Alrighty. So now for thread, I'm using UTC 70 in brown. Alrighty, let's get started. So we're going to take the thread here and start right behind this lead. And I'm just going to build up a little dam here. Right up against that lead here to start. And I'll jump on top with a couple wraps. I got it locked in there with super glue, so it's not going to go anywhere. So now I'm going to bring my thread back to just about where the barb is there on the hook. Snip off the tag end of thread. Now the tail is just some of the guard hairs off a hare's mask here. And I like using the natural hair for this instead of the stuff you buy in the bags. So I'm going to clip off just want the guard hairs for the tail, so I'm going to clip off a bunch here. And I'll get the under fur out, get our tail here. Whoops, that should be fine right there. Okay, don't want too thick of a tail on. Actually, I want a little bit more than that. Just bear with me, folks. Okay, I'm just picking out some good ones on the hide here for the tail. Okay, that should be fine. These bunch here, I'll get them out. Alrighty. Doesn't hurt if you have a little bit of under fur left in there. It doesn't hurt anything. Alright, but you don't want too much of it, of course. Alright, so this will be our tail. And the tail, I usually tie it in about, so it's the lengthwise, about the length of your hook gap on your hook there. So we'll catch that in and wrap that back on top of the hook like so. Then wrap down the extra forward, cover that up, come to behind the lead. Okay, put a little bit of wax on my thread here. Whoops. Okay, now I thought I had a piece here. Guess I'm not organized as I thought. Just bear with me, folks. I gotta grab a piece of tinsel. Just be right there. Alright, and for the tinsel rib, I'm using some gold French medium oval tinsel here for the rib. You can also use flat, or you can use gold wire too if you wish, if you don't want to use the oval tinsel. Okay, I thought I had a few more pieces on the bench here, and I was mistaken. That's why. Sorry about that, folks. So now I'm going to tie that in on my side here. Catch that in on my side of the hook here. Right, just butt that up against the lead there. Right back to in front of our tail. Then we'll go forward on that. Get it in there nice and tight. Whoops. Gotta watch the hook point. There we go. Stick that in the material, clip it out of my way. Okie dokie, now it's the body. So we're going to take some, I have lots of this here pulled out of the, I already took a bunch off the hare's ear mask. And this is good and buggy. That's what I like about this particular pattern. I tie it nice and buggy looking. So we're going to take a little bit different wax here for the body. I'm going to use a little bit of this sticky wax here instead of my beeswax. Just put a little on the thread. Just holds that rabbit hair a little bit better. Alright, so we're going to dub a noodle here for the for the abdomen. We'll get that started here. Okay. And I don't really cinch that noodle so it's really tight. I like to have it a little bit loose. It makes the abdomen a little more buggy if you do it that way. So I find the buggier the better for this particular pattern. Okay. A little bit more. Alright, that might do it for us here. I'm going to give that a try. As you can see, that noodle's not the tightest dubbing noodle, but that's what I'm looking for. Okay, then we're going to wrap forward. Back that off. Okay, I got a little bit there that didn't want to agree with me, so spin that back on. There we go. I know it looks a mess right now, but once you get this, you get it on there and get your rib on there, it looks fine. It doesn't seem to want to cooperate at the moment. There we go. Okay, sometimes you just got to control your materials and make them go where you want them to go. Okay, I want a hair more, folks. Just a tiny bit more dubbing for the thorax. Usually bring it right up to where the lead starts. Okay, I'm going to dub that on. Alright, that should be fine right there. Actually, let me see here. That didn't go on the way I like it, so I'm going to do that again. Something about fly tying, if you don't like how something looks, just back off and start over. That's one good thing. Alright, I think this will do what I'm looking for right there. There we go. Alrighty, so there's our abdomen rather, folks. Now I'm going to take that tinsel. I'm going to wrap the opposite direction here. And I usually only shoot for 3 wraps on this particular pattern. Okay, and we'll come over, catch that in, keep your thread tension as you come around. Always want to keep good thread tension. I know I mention that all the time, but it's very important in fly tying. Okay, we'll come in, snip off our excess rib material. So there's our abdomen. And as you can tell in the rib, you can tell how buggy that is. It's a very buggy pattern, which I like. Okay, we're going to come back a little ways here. Alrighty. Now, is one thing I like to do the way I tie this particular version. I'm going to put a little bit of flash across the wing case. So I have 1 strand of pearl flashabou here. I'm going to tie that in first. Make sure that's right on top in the center there. Okay, and we're going to pull that to length so it's just behind the bead, just like so. Wrap back on it. Okay, so that'll be our flash for the wing case. The old pattern, the old here's there generally calls for turkey quill for the wing case, but I like to use the good old pheasant tail fibers, same as on your pheasant tail nip. So I'm just going to pull a medium-sized bunch of these out here, up there, and I'm going to snip the tips off. Okay, and we're going to tie that in right on top here. A little more wax on my thread to help bind that down. Come in and put those so they butt up against the bead there. Keep them right on top and right in the center. Wrap back, and I always check here. That looks fine. Alrighty. Okay, now the way I'm going to do the thorax is a little different too than generally you can just dub the noodle and wrap it on, but I'm going to split my thread here because I like a nice buggy thorax. So what I'm going to do is spin that counterclockwise and just smooth it out with the groove in my whip finisher here until I get it flat enough to split it. Okay, just keep going back on it, spin it a little counterclockwise again until I can see on my finger that it's getting flat enough to try to split there. Then we'll go take my dubbing needle and split that thread. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my dubbing needle, excuse me folks. Okay, now I'm going to split that. Try to get as close as to the center, down the center as I can. Alright, that looks pretty good right there. So there we got a split in our thread. Now I'm going to take a little more of that tackier wax and just go along the sides of that loop where my thread is split there. Now we'll bring in some more of the hare's ear dubbing. We'll put in that loop like so. Okay. Just put that in. It should stick in there pretty good where it's got the wax on it there. We don't want to overdo it, so that should be enough right there, and I'll close that loop. Now we're going to spin our bobbin clockwise now. Bring my thread up and we'll spin that. Just keep spinning it until I get that where I want it. Okay, and eventually that'll start to spin. Takes a little while this way, but I just find it gives you a nice thorax, nice and buggy, lots of legs sticking out. And that's what you want on the good old hare's ear nymph. There, she's starting to spin for me now, folks. I'm just going to pull out some of that never got caught in the loop. There we go. And I'll give it a few more spins here. Alrighty, that should be fine. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just wrap that. I'm going to go back, make the first wrap right in front of my wingcase material. Then we'll wrap forward towards the bead like so. Pull back them fibers as I go. And when this is done, you'll see that it's a very nice buggy thorax. A couple wraps there. Alright. Okay, get rid of some of that hair there that's in the way. There, as you can see how nice and thick and buggy that is. Then I'll just take my finger there and just sort of work some of them hairs down so I got a flat on the top to lay over my wingcase material. Okay, so now we're just going to take the pheasant tail fibers, fold them ahead, push down with my finger and make sure they're nice and flat. Come around, keep my thread tension. I'm just going to take my thumb, and I want that wingcase a little wider than that, so you can work it with your fingers there and get it the way you want it to look, just like so. Alright, a couple wraps behind, then we're going to come in front and make 3 or 4 wraps. Then I'll take the pearl flashabou strand and come right down the center. Same thing, come around. Keep your thread tension. And you can see that going right down the middle. Couple wraps. Couple in front there. Then I'll come in nice and close with my scissor points here and trim the excess. Come in on this angle. Okay. Now there's a few of the hairs that, if you see any guard hairs that are super long, it doesn't hurt to trim them ones out. But don't trim too many out, because that's what makes this fly effective, is the bugginess of it. Okay, and there we have it. Now, make a few turns here over those butts on the wingcase that I cut there. Now what I like to do is trim a few around the bead there. There's a few sticking out there. Trim those. Then I'm just going to take a little dubbing wax, put on my thread here before I do my whip finish. Just find that secures everything really well. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap back first towards the, cover up a few more of those butt ends there and have a look what we got here. Looks pretty good. A couple more wraps. Okay. Here's our whip finish. Snug that down nice and tight. Whoops, snapped on me, but that's fine. It caught in. It never let go. The knots on it. It's caught the knot, so that's fine. Alrighty, so there we have it. A nice buggy hare's ear nymph pattern. I definitely recommend that you tie some of these up in this fashion and add them to your nymph box. Now the last step I'll do is take a little bit of UV resin and thin formula and go over top of that wing case to make it much more durable. So we're just going to squeeze some of that out here and go right over the top. And a little bit on towards the bead there as well. Just like so. Actually, I got a little too much there, so I'll take some of that off. Okay, a little bit more on top there. There we go. Alright, now I'm just going to hit that with my light, cure that up there, and that's all I do to this pattern. It's a done deal. Just let that cure there. Doesn't take too awful long. Okay, that should be fine, folks. He's a done deal. So that's another size 10 bead-head pheasant, or excuse me, a bead-head hare's ear, with a little bit of flash going across the wing case there. It's definitely a buggy pattern, which is very effective. Just one way that I tie it. I do tie it different versions of it, but I wanted to share this one with you. This is my favorite, one of my favorite versions to tie this particular pattern. So anyway, if you wish, hit the like and subscribe button there. I appreciate that. And like I always say, any comments, put them down below. Appreciate that as well, to hear from you. And until next time, folks, happy tying out there. And I'll see you all again soon.